Bereaved relatives of people who died after being given infected blood are today calling for wider compensation from the government. This week, several key ministers, including the Prime Minister himself, will be called upon to give evidence to the infected blood inquiry. It was set up to look into how thousands of patients in the United Kingdom were infected with HIV and hepatitis C through contaminated products in the 70s and the 80s. Joining me now is Gary Webster. Gary was infected with HIV after being given contaminated blood. Gary, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you very much indeed. Maybe you wouldn't mind telling people the story of how this happened to you, how old you were, what the circumstances were.
Yeah, I was, I went to Lord Mayor Trelaw College when I was about 10 years old in 1975. And through my treatment for haemophilia, I was infected with hep C and hepatitis and HIV. This would have happened when I was about 16.
And can you tell people how that has affected the rest of your life? Because the three of those together sounds like a hideous ordeal for anyone to go through, let alone somebody so young already dealing with haemophilia and all its implications. So how has that? I mean, I know it's a huge question. Obviously, it must have been dreadful. But in sort of practical terms, what effect has that had on you in your life?
Well, not only me and hundreds of other people, it's devastated lives. We haven't been able to get mortgages or life insurance. A lot of us haven't worked for many years. It's affected all our families. Some families have lost 1, 2, 3 children to HIV, AIDS, and hepatitis C. So it has totally ruined lives throughout the country. And this is why we need action now and the government to stand up and put things right.
Gary, did you work out, have they found out how this happened, why this blood was contaminated? Was it some kind of human error, some kind of technical error? What went wrong?
Well, it was imported blood from America, from Skid Row, from prisoners. And there was also, in this country, we were unable to be self-sufficient. So we bought blood in, and from that blood, proteins were made, one of being factor VIII, but it was all contaminated with HIV and hepatitis C. And then obviously we were injected with it.
So does that mean that it's the American company that supplied it that has to pay the compensation, or does it mean it's the government via the NHS for bringing it in and giving it to you and all the other sufferers who have to pay for it?
Yes. Yeah, we believe so. It's very difficult to get the pharmaceutical companies to answer any questions, and it's very expensive to get them in court. So, yeah, the government are responsible. They had the licenses for this. They weren't able to be self-sufficient, so they brought it in. So, yeah, the bottom line is it does lie with the government, administration and everything like that.
And have you been given any compensation so far?
I personally got an interim of 100,000 back in last October, but that was only for a small group of people infected or their partners or spouses. Parents or children that had lost parents or parents that had lost children haven't been compensated whatsoever. And this is what we're hoping for. Something may come out this week that we're hoping the government will do something about it and start working on the framework.
Gary, I would say that one of the few things worse than being infected without deserving it, without realising, without, having done anything wrong at all with these, extremely severe infections and diseases is having to spend the life you have campaigning to try to get compensation for something that isn't your fault. You'd think, my God, you're battling haemophilia, HIV, hepatitis and everything else. The last thing you need to be is fighting every day of your life to get the compensation that you're entitled to. It's just a dreadful thing to contemplate. How much of your time has been taken up trying to get the compensation that you're obviously due?
I think personally, for the past 15 years, I've been campaigning, but this has been going on a lot longer than this. I mean, personally, it's 40 years, over 40 years now that it's been, it's happened. We only got the inquiry in 2018. Since the inquiry has been going, hundreds of lives have been lost. and that's why it needs to, come to an end, and closure needs to be done now. Many people are dying, one every 4 days, so we need an end to this.
I mean, this is just a monumental injustice that's been done you and everybody else who's suffered in this way. It's absolutely dreadful. In fact, just hearing about it, I think, makes people to have a sort of sharp intake of breath at the sheer unfairness of this, the kind of monstrous unfairness of what's happened to you. It's such a shame. It's awful. I'm so sorry. Honestly, I'm so sorry about this. It's just dreadful. So how near are you to getting what you think you deserve?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, how close are you to actually receiving the real level of compensation that you need and that you've been fighting for all this time?
How long's a piece of string? Hopefully Sir Brian's final report will come out November this year, and we hope the government they say they're working at pace, but I'm not sure what pace that is. So let's hope as soon as the report's out, they start moving and can start making closure and helping the people.
Gary Webster, really, I'm glad you came on the show to tell the story as movingly as you did, but I'm so sorry that that's your story to tell. I hope that you reach the most satisfactory conclusion you can as quickly as possible. Thank you very much.